The mind is the greatest deception, and it is what you need to distance yourself from. You need some void between you and this ego so you can take off this ego costume, return to be your real self. So right now we're just going to look into discernment, how to practice discernment, because obviously you are not practicing discernment. And I want to share the screen right now, so let's share the screen so everyone can see what I am looking at. Okay, so what we want to get into right now, because this is the problem with ones. You are not practicing discernment and you are thinking that the dream is real. Consciousness is sleeping and dreaming up this world. You have this duality mind, and so you also are thinking that this dream is the real. And it's all because that you are wearing the replica, the baby self of the consciousness. And you are existing as this mind avatar. So you're also thinking that the dream is real. But you have to come into realization that you are inside of a dream. And you have to practice discernment. What is the real from the unreal? Figuring out what is the real from the unreal is very tricky. How to differentiate the real self. It's a very tricky situation because, like I say, your self is here and the mind coat is over you. The mind coat is over you, and you are thinking that this mind coating is yourself. But you have to take off this coat and know that this is yourself, and this is the coat is not you. This coat that's been over you is not you. So now you got to take it off, give it back to the mind, separate yourself from it so you can have a better understanding. All right? So you have to practice discernment to do this. Always you have to ask, who is this? Who speaks? Where does these thoughts originate from? What lessons am I learning? It is simple what to do, but doing is where the challenges lies. What one has to do, you must come to self-realization that for that which you seek, you already are. You don't need to elevate your consciousness. You don't need to elevate yourself. You don't need to do none of those things because you are the self. You are what you are that you are. You just have to take off this coat that is over you. Take it off. That's it. You hide and seek. You're playing hide and seek with the mind. The mind is coating you in its magnetic energy. You can't find yourself. And now you're thinking that this coat the mind put over you is yourself. No, you have to take it off to find yourself. Take it off and then you can find yourself. You must self-inquire because your supreme teacher within rises up through stillness and self-inquiry. It is very important that you self-inquire because you do not know. So you ask, who am I? Who speaks? Who are you? If somebody is giving you any name, know that it's a duality because all of the selves, the non-duality, they have no names. Only the duality, the mind beings, name themselves. If they answer, I am yourself, that's a different. They give you some name that they are, and then they tell you that I am yourself. They are tricksters. But like I said, do not connect to anything. You only need to connect to yourself, soul, and the soul is going to let you know that I am yourself, you are my baby self. Return the ego back to its source. You must take off this ego coat that you are wearing. And you want to know what is written in your destiny because you wrote out your destiny and you are only been appeasing and living out the ego's destiny. Who has the destiny and how to fulfill this destiny? You have to merge your spirit back into yourself, soul. All right, this is the mission that you want to be on. connecting to your soul self. Discernment. While what to do is really simple, doing it is where the challenge comes in. This process takes dedication, a lot of your time, keen sense of discernment to differentiate the real from the unreal. Because remember, we are inside of a dream, and the mind is always trying to trick us. You are always being tested to see if you can detect the truth from the untruth. Know this. I don't really comprehend how humanity can just take illusion and ignorance for their truth without asking any questions, thinking that this is all the work that you have to do to just someone just come and tell you something and you just believe it like that. You see how this mind is very deceptive. You can't believe it. You have to question into it. The self has to go through numerous tests to make sure it is secure in its knowing of the self. You know that yourself without any doubt. The self is you in manifest form, experiencing, creating, managing the world, waking, sleeping, and dreaming state. Stop listening to the mind and listen to and with your heart, your self soul. This is where you want to go. The process of elimination. You have to trace the source of all your thoughts. When a thought arises, who is thinking? Do you know? Because many times these thoughts are not arising from yourself. There should be nothing associated with the pure self. How do I identify myself? So there's two columns right here. If it's yourself, you're going to put it in the column that say I, what's you, not I, what's not you. So let's do this together, Rashanti. The body. Is it you?
Not I.
All right. This mind. Is it you?
I am not this mind.
All of these dream things. This ancestors and this dualities, aliens. Are they you?
I am not these beings. I am not these characters. I am none of that.
Yeah, because they're all the what? The mind. They're the mind beings. No, they are not yourself. You must go through this and identify what is you. You have to take off all of these layers. And many ones are stuck into their sexual identity. This is me. My culture. Is your culture you? They're promoting these spirituality and African spirituality and this spirituality. Is it you?
No, it's just another product of the mind for me to get lost in.
Precisely. There must be nothing associated with your pure self. You have to take off all of these layers and just go back down to your pure self. Because everything that the mind has coated over you, the mind has coated so many layers of delusion over you that you are identifying yourself as all these things. This is not you. Take off all of these layers, all of these coats, and strip yourself down to nothing. Back to your pure self. This is what
the Buddha said that desire was the root of all lostness, but identity has to take place before a desire. Like before you can desire, you have to have an identity. So identity is truly the source. False identity is the source of all of our lostness here.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is what humanity have been plagued with, false self-identity. They're identifying themselves as, oh, I hear them all the time. And I'm saying, is that you? Even a couple couple days ago, I encountered a young lady. She looked at the book and she says, "Oh, I don't disagree with anything that you say in the book." But I said, "Well, I have the steps in here that you can follow." She said, "No, she's following the Orishas. If she was following me, she wouldn't follow herself." So I said, "I am the self. So if you're following me, you're going to follow yourself because you are myself." I said, "The Orisha, is it yourself? That is a duality." So right away, you're telling me you're not following what me or what I am saying, but you're following the Orishas. How is that yourself? So, so this is what the mind does, and it gets them all trapped in it. And then she was also explaining to me that she was suffering from a nervous situation. She was very like this and doing the shakiness, and because she was taking all of these chemicals to turn herself into a man. And she was explaining to me, because I said, I see the confusion, and this book will clarify things for you so there is no confusion. But her mind is so still into the duality. This is how she was responding to me with the agitation. And so I just calmed and just sent calm to her, because I realized what the mind was doing, And so she just walked away and says, "I don't disagree with anything you say in the book." And she just walked away, but she never, I said, "But one day you're gonna need it. But because they're so identified with all of these things, the mind will not allow them to see that this affirmation is what you're going to need to break at the mind. To the mind, the coat of the coat of the magnet is so strong that this affirmation is the chisel that you have to use to chisel it away, to chisel at the mind, to chisel at these things, to take them off, because they're so cloaked into it, Cloak into it is hard to get off. This affirmation, chisel it away. So, so I hope maybe she'll reach out to me some point in time. But I'm just saying that to say that this is what the mind is doing, cloaking everyone, cocooning them, into all of these false self-identity. I know she was saying that she identified herself as non-binary. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay. Because I saw that she was so very unstable. And yeah. So this is the trickery of the mind. And even though they're seeking and they come and they find me, but the mind is still fighting with them and they don't see it. And when I said the problem is this mind, but they still don't see it. So, they need some, eventually they will start to see it. It takes a slow process, because they're so cocoon and so cloaked into all of these false self-identification and all of these things that's been cloaked onto them. And so let's move to the next slide so we can close out this. So how to
Well, can we clarify? I just want to clarify something for the viewers. All set.
Go ahead.
On the last slide.
Go back to it.
If you could go back one slide. Yeah. Because I feel that many ones still leave. Like, it's the greatest desire is to have an identity. Because without an identity, one cannot exist in duality. The mind needs an identity to identify with. So ones are going to constantly seek an identity, because before one can desire, one has to have an identity to desire from. So people may still be wondering, what am I? What am I? How do I describe it? And this is why a lot of the chants in the book that All Set refers to, the soul seed, and many chants throughout history, just The self is inexpressible. What we chant is, I am that which has no name. I am that which can't be explained. Boundless, limitless, timeless, spaceless. These are the qualities of the self that we can look at and give our attention to within duality, and it mirrors exactly that which we are. We are that which has no name, because names are dualistic. We are that which cannot be explained, because any explanation is within duality. Nothing here can identify with what you are. So leave it behind. You don't need no identity from this world. Let it go.
Very well said, Rashanti. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Much honor. Yes. Go to the next slide. How about you take the next slide, Rashanti? Take this slide. Go ahead.
Yes. Break the bonds of non-awareness. Self exists in unawareness of itself. Okay? By self-inquiring, which means to question yourself, you break the bond of non-awareness. By chanting, I am the primal light. I am self-luminous. You awake to and become occupied with self-consciousness, because these are the qualities of the self. Awake to the awareness that you are the participant in a dream, okay? Who you are is a participant. Maintain conscious breath, thoughts, words, action, and creation to be aware of your state, your beingness. Maintain conscious breath, thoughts, words, action, and creation. Conscious breath awareness is what's going to prevent the mind from pulling an old trick on you. Because it's an old trick. It's been doing it for ages. So you must remain aware within this dream. Do everything with awareness. Do whatever is needed to be done. If you got to chant every hour, if you got to say it in your mind, if you got to write it down, if you got to draw it with your finger, if you got to just listen to it, record yourself and go to sleep listening to it. Whatever it takes to be aware of your being, to not forget, to realize yourself and not let the mind overcome you again. Do that. And this has worked for me. When I did the 21 days that Offset recommends us to do when we go when we choose to devote ourselves to the soul, it worked. Without exaggerating, I could say, well, without concern for exaggeration, I could say it worked immediately. You can feel the results immediately, because now you're giving your attention to something else. So long we've given our attention in a state of non-awareness to whatever the mind puts in front of us. But by chanting, you put your attention towards the truth. For example, I must be free today, now. Supreme fire of love consumes me. I break the bonds of illusion. I am free here and now. I return ego back into its source. And say these words carefully, with conscious breath, with conscious words, with awareness. Because just saying them, the mind can trick you just by with the words. So make sure that you're vigilant and you stay aware of these words, that you let the light, the primal light that you are, shine through them. Another chant to remind oneself and to be aware of our being is to say, I am not the body and all its functions. I am not the mind and its functions. And of course, we follow that with the sacred vibrations that destroy any of the magnetic energy that the mind likes to manifest through. So after an affirmation, just to make sure that the mind doesn't steal what we have affirmed and reminded ourselves of, we sing, Being sure to imagine the magnetic energy breaking around us with a spiral. The sound is spiraling around us, spiraling around the energies that are surrounding us in this mind, creating that void space for the soul to shine through. And then after that, we can stabilize and balance ourselves with ourself, with the Om.
Let's do this a couple of times. Wait, what do you say? 8 times?
Yes. So 8 times with the Om or 8 times for the Ah?
Yeah, with the you know what? We can do both. Let's go with Ah first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're leading. I'm following. Go ahead.
Okay. Ah. One more time. And now we transition to 4 Ohms, stabilizing the energy that we just spiraled. Inhale now. So I'll go through the third vibration, Ah So Hum, 4 times as well. Yes.
Play the bowl.
Thank you. Thank you, awareness. Denounce all ties to this world. I free myself from all ties and bondage. I revoke all contracts that binds me in any way or form. I denounce all rivalry. My truth and freedom is all I need. I claim my liberation. Free from this hypnosis, all slavery and oppression, all mind control, psychic attack, all manipulation. I claim my sovereignty. Mind has no power over me. I am sovereign being. I revoke all your rights to act on my behalf. I annul all contracts between me and you. I have no relations, no teacher, no preacher, no deity, no guru, no God, no mother, no father, sister, brother, family, friends, no husband, no wife, no lover. All is the self. I, the self alone exists, indivisible, non-dual, formless, timeless, limitless, boundless. I am the ultimate truth. I am the ultimate reality. I am the eternal truth. I am the eternal self. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained.
I am liberated from this dream. I am free. What is not real? Anything that was created inside of this dream is not real. The ego can only rise in the dream. The ego cannot exit the dream to go into the real. This is why it has been tricking you that you go into fifth dimension, because it does not know how to exit this dream. But this whole dream will be dissolved. Liberation from duality. Everything that I have created, I demolish. Everything that I have created, I demolish. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. I transition from being to non-being. I transition from being to non-being. I move effortlessly with ease from manifest to unmanifest. I move effortlessly with ease from manifest to unmanifest. I am one with all. Hail, hail to the primal lights. Hail, hail to the primal lights. Hail, hail to myself supreme, primal light. I am primal light. I am the true light. I am the self-supreme primal light, the unmanifest. I bow to you in love, in light, and in truth. All is myself, and I alone exist, and all of myself must return unto me. I am one with all. I am primal light, prepared for the world with this self-identity as Aset, Art and Ra. I am the liberator, and I advocate for all selves. Hail, hail, hail. Hail to the primal light. I want to thank you for joining us today on No More Secrets, No More Lies, where we answer the questions of are we moving to the fifth dimension? Is this earth moving to a new earth? What is the narrative being spread about the twin flames, Pleiadians, light workers, and all of those all has been answered in this video. I want to thank myself, Rashanti, for joining me on this journey. You want to share anything, Rashanti?
Two statements. Ecstatic stillness and voluminous silence. Stillness and silence.
Yep.
Please anchor thyself in that which is true, which is your soul self. Devote yourself to the mission of passing the baton on and on until you reach that one truth. Thank you, because this is the mission for the self. And that self is what we all share. Thank you, all ones. I'm grateful for awareness. Thank you.
Hail, hail to the primal light. So, give honor and reverence to myself supreme. And just to clarify, what is this shadowed self that everyone is obsessing about? It is you that is being obscured by your mind. You are in the shadow of your mind. And all you must do is what? Take off this ego cloak. Don't go into this dream for anything.
Yes.
Alrighty. Much honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Close out now. Alright, thanks.
Hail, hail, hail to the primal light.
Hail, hail, hail to the true light. Hail, hail to the transparent light. Hail to the light throughout the ages. Hail to the light without beginning nor end. Hail, hail to myself supreme primal light. Much honor, much reverence. Yes. Alrighty. We'll see you at the next sunrise.
Yes, much honor, much reverence. Ciao.